Ego is the Enemy is a book by Ryan Holiday that delves into the destructive nature of the ego and how it can hinder personal and professional growth. Divided into 3 parts, Aspire, Success, and Failure, Holiday presents lessons from history, philosophy, and practical wisdom to help individuals overcome the barriers that ego creates in their lives. Part 1, Aspire. In the first part, Aspire, Ryan Holiday focuses on the beginning of any journey, where ambition can often be clouded by ego. He emphasizes that before we achieve anything, our desires need to be grounded. Holiday argues that ego is especially dangerous when one is just starting out, as it can blind a person to the reality of the work and learning required to succeed. He shares the stories of individuals who, despite their talents, failed due to their egos. For instance, he mentions John Boyd, a military strategist who taught the Boyd Principle. This principle is about constantly improving, even when it means discarding old ideas and accepting new ones. Boyd's life is used as an example of how humility and continuous learning help in keeping the ego in check. Holiday contrasts this with those who believe their skills alone would take them to the top, only to find themselves unprepared for the challenges they faced. Holiday also advises readers to be a student always. He uses examples from history, like the ancient Greeks, who believed that being a lifelong learner was crucial. Holiday suggests that adopting this mindset keeps a person humble, acknowledging that there is always more to learn. This attitude helps in avoiding the trap of overestimating oneself and underestimating the work needed to reach one's goals. Part 2, Success. The second part, Success, explores how ego can be a significant obstacle even after achieving initial success. Holiday highlights that reaching a goal often leads to complacency, arrogance, and the belief that we have already achieved all there is to achieve. He warns that ego can turn success into failure if it makes us lose focus or become too self-assured. One of the examples he uses is the story of Howard Hughes, a successful businessman and aviator whose ego eventually led to his downfall. Hughes's inability to manage his success and keep his ego in check caused him to alienate others, lose focus, and ultimately suffer a tragic decline. This narrative illustrates how a lack of humility can make it difficult to sustain success over the long term. Holiday encourages readers to stay focused on their work rather than getting caught up in their achievements. He references the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who advised that we should detach ourselves from the fruits of our labor. This means that one should focus on doing the work rather than basking in the glory that comes with it. Holiday's message here is clear: success is not a destination but a continuous process of effort and improvement. Additionally, he discusses the value of being open to criticism. He stresses that listening to feedback and using it as a tool for growth is essential for maintaining a humble mindset. This attitude helps individuals stay grounded, as it prevents them from assuming that they are always right. Holiday argues that by accepting criticism, we are better positioned to make decisions that align with our goals and values. Part 3, Failure. The final section, Failure, examines how ego can worsen the impact of setbacks and prevent us from learning from them. Holiday notes that failure is inevitable at some point in everyone's life, but how we respond to it determines whether we grow stronger or succumb to despair. He emphasizes that ego can make failure seem like the end, rather than an opportunity for growth. A notable example Holiday provides is that of Katharine Graham, the publisher of the Washington Post. Graham faced immense challenges, including self-doubt and public scrutiny, but she managed to overcome these struggles by maintaining a realistic view of herself and her situation. Her humility allowed her to see failure as a chance to improve rather than as a personal attack on her identity. Holiday uses Graham's story to show how a balanced approach to failure can lead to resilience and, eventually, success. In this section, Holiday also warns against the tendency to blame others for our failures. He explains that this habit is a classic sign of an inflated ego, as it prevents individuals from acknowledging their mistakes and taking responsibility for their actions. He advises readers to take ownership of their failures, learn from them, and use those lessons to become better. Holiday argues that ego often pushes people to take shortcuts, seeking recognition without putting in the necessary effort. This impatience can lead to poor decisions and ultimately to failure. To counter this, he suggests adopting a long-term perspective, focusing on continuous improvement rather than seeking immediate rewards. This approach helps in keeping the ego in check and ensures that setbacks are seen as part of the growth process rather than as final judgments on one's abilities. Conclusion. In Ego is the Enemy. Ryan Holiday presents a compelling case for why keeping the ego in check is crucial for success and growth. Through historical examples, philosophical insights, and practical advice, he shows how ego can distort our perception of reality and lead us away from our true potential. Whether in the early stages of aspiring toward a goal, dealing with the challenges of success, or coping with failure, Holiday emphasizes that humility, continuous learning, and a focus on the bigger picture are key to overcoming the destructive influence of ego. He argues that by recognizing and controlling our ego, we can achieve more, maintain healthier relationships, and live a more fulfilling life. This book serves as a reminder that true greatness comes not from how others see us but from our ability to see ourselves clearly, free from the distortions of ego.